Alright, welcome to Old World Gaming. Let's have a look and see what news came out in the Nova Open 2024 preview. Don't know if that was part of the Nova. It doesn't have the strip across the top, but new stuff for Lord of the Rings. Horus Heresy, this is what we're mainly interested in. Next, Old World Armies. Very cool. So, we've got an actual roadmap from the looks of things. What else we got? 40k, Age of Sigvar. Big hats off to Hashut's finest Chaos Dwarfs come to Blood Bowl. Very, very cool. I did wonder if it was going to be Chaos Dwarfs. It could have been anything, because last time they did Gnomes. But Chaos Dwarfs, that is very, very cool. I'm actually going to have a look at that quick. Yeah, quick change of plan. I'm going to look at Blood Bowl first. I'll do another video about the Old World. Nova Open Preview. A big hats off to Hashut's finest. Bob and Jim. Bob, I don't understand how the Chaos Dwarf team is winning, Jim. You said their opponents were on fire. If you're not, you may or may not be a Blood Bowl fan. Blood Bowl is one of my favourite Games Workshop games. If you're not familiar with it, it's essentially American football with Warhammer armies. Bob and Jim are the commentators. One's an ogre, one's a dwarf, a vampire. Okay, yeah, here we go. Bob, I don't understand how the Chaos Dwarf team is winning, Jim. You said their opponents were on fire. Jim, oh no, Bob, I meant literally. Blood Bowl, there's nothing quite like it. The bloodthirsty baying of the crowds, players tackled with such force that their helmets hang in the air for a moment, the scent of fresh grass mingled with brimstone. That's right, there's a new team hustling into the gridiron, and just look at those hats. Interesting. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Oh, very cool. Very cool. After years in the wilderness, banned from official Blood Bowl tournaments by the NAF, Chaos Dwarves are back. Relegated to playing their own leagues in the inhospitable Darklands, they've honed their skills through trial by literal fire, and they're ready to set the gridiron ablaze. Welcome back, the Tsar Nagrund Ziggurats. So that's the in-world fluff, is it? The lore that they were banned from Blood Bowl. Yeah, very good. These, yeah, well, they have brought the tall hats back. That's interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, great. Oh, you get 14 guys in the box. That's very good. Dwarves. Wow, yeah. Chaos Dwarves. I think it'd be interesting to see if they've got the Bull Centaurs later on. But yeah, I mean, don't know how many of these guys you'll actually need in a team. Chaos Dwarf teams tend to be fairly small in my experience. So, but yeah, so wait a minute. You'll have a full 16 roster if you... No, you've got too many guys. Because if you get your Minotaur and a couple of Bull Centaurs, you got an extra guy. It's really interesting the way they decide to give you numbers for teams in Blood Bowl. But there we go. Yeah, very cool. You got all the stuff you need there. They'll do the Bull Centaurs separately, I would imagine. Very cool. Okay. But since the collapse of the NAF in 2488, Chaos Dwarf teams are once again free to participate in the more rigorous competitions. Their game has evolved in the time they've been away, with new positionals and other tricks. Really? Oh, that's good to know. Oh, this guy's got stab, I guess. Yeah. But their game plan is the same as ever it was. Punch first, play later. They still bring a contingent of malodorous hobgoblin linemen to perform mundane tasks such as catching the ball, holding the ball, and being tackled while holding the ball. Yeah, interesting. The more important parts of Blood Bowl, putting the hurt on opponents with bone-snapping blocks, falls to the Chaos Dwarf blockers, who approach the sport in the same demented ferocity with which they hammer out arms in their sweltering workshops. Now, I don't know if the Chaos Dwarf needed any more positional types, because I was just going to say these guys looked like something different, but I was like, no, Chaos Dwarves only have blockers as their normal position. But yeah, maybe that's a different type of player. I quite like the classic roster, but let's see where it goes this edition. So what are these guys? Despite their typically head-on approach to Blood Bowl, the Chaos Dwarfs now add in a little magical spice in with their new Flamesmiths. Wait. Oh, these are the blockers. Okay, fine. These are the Flamesmiths. These cackling pyromaniacs have trained under the maddest, I feel like there should be 2Ds in maddest, and most powerful of sorcerers, and literally now breathe fire at their opponents. What better way to prevent a touchdown than setting the ball carrier ablaze? Interesting. Is this meant to be fire coming out of their mouths? I can't really see. Crucially, the Chaos Dwarves have also leaned into the devious nature of the Hobgoblins, whose sneaky stabbers thin out the field with a well-placed knife thrust when the referee isn't looking. I mean, sure, why not? Have some sneaky stabbers. That is quite classic lore. Ooh, what's this coming down here? Well, the line of scrimmage becomes a bar brawl. Oh, they're so nice. Sorry, I got distracted from reading the words by looking at the pictures. These guys are really, really nice. Yeah, very good. So I've wanted a Chaos Dwarf team for a very long time, but I've never been a huge fan of the models. But these are good. These are good. I probably, this is controversial, but I probably would have preferred them without the giant hats. And that's a very controversial thing to say for Chaos Dwarves. But, I mean, they're okay. They're alright. They don't need to be streamlined. They're dwarves. Anyway, where were we? Looking at these guys. Because these are amazing. These are really, really nice. And these are the more sort of type of hats I probably would have gone for. But that's, yeah, amazing. Anyway, what does it say? Back to reading the words. Concentrate, Luke. Whilst the line of scrimmage becomes a bar brawl, and fire is flying left and right, it's down to the bull centaurs to smash through the skirmish. Yes, the best players in Blood Bowl are also back, ready to sack ball carriers and canter in a clutch touchdowns. Unnatural fusions of dwarf and bull, these bestial blitzers embody the true nature of Hashut, something for opposition players to mull over even as they're trampled into unconsciousness under iron-shod hooves. Note that the bull centaurs are sold in separate packs of 2. Bull centaurs are sold in... Oh, I see. As in, they don't come in with the team. Fine, but a pack of 2. That's what you need, right? And cast in Forge World resin. Yeah, very good. Ah, interesting. If they come in packs of 2, I wonder if they will be as expensive as a big guy. Blood Bowl big guys range between like 20, 30 quid. So does that mean you'll get 2 of them for like 40, 50, 60 quid maybe? Or will each one be the... I don't know. I've got no idea. We'll find out. Anyway, how do they play? Oh, they're giving loads of info about this. I was kind of expecting... So I knew a Blood Bowl team was coming out. I was kind of expecting it literally just to be a picture. Like, ta-da, here's what's coming out. You'll have to wait a bit to find out more about them. But yeah, loads of info. That's very cool. Okay, anyway, where were we? But how do they play? Long-time worshippers of Hashut will notice that while the Chaos Dwarf team is largely familiar, there are some changes to their rules. How will we have noticed that? Okay, apart from the fact that we've talked about the new positionals, yeah. But there are some changes to the rules while the new positionals create fresh opportunities. That's a very weird thing to say. We'll note while the Chaos Dwarf team, there are... okay, fine. Anyway, whatever, I'm just going to carry on reading. Chaos Dwarf teams are sturdy as befitting the short nature of their blockers, but they are unusually versatile for Blood Bowl thanks to their Hobgoblins and Bull Centaurs. This is true, like compared to a normal Dwarf team, which I find to be really boring. Yeah, Dwarf team's really boring. These guys are actually really interesting because they do have all the different positionals and it does make them versatile. Chaos Dwarf blockers no longer start with the tackle skill. Now that is controversial. This is replaced by Ironhard Skin, which prevents any adjustment to their armor value. Even claws are blunted by this, so they'll always be hard to hurt at a formidable AV10. I don't know how much I like that change. I mean, as a elf player, I like the fact they don't have tackle. But I don't know. I think Ironhard Skin is probably a little bit OP maybe, because one of the ways for dealing with them was to like use claws on them. I don't know. Is that a good move? It's the move that's been made. We'll have to see how it plays out. But I feel like that might make them too hard, like to actually deal with. I mean, not that elves could do anything about it anyway, but if that other teams, chaos teams, undead teams. Anyway, Flamesmith, by undead I mean necromantic. Flamesmiths provide a new avenue in offense. Breathe fire. Wait, does that mean? No, I was just going to say chainsaws aren't affected by iron hard skin, so we're all good. Anyway, distracted. Flamesmiths provide a new avenue in offense. Breathe fire will leave players prone, and it may even knock them down. Though this being Blood Bowl, they're perfectly capable of knocking themselves over. Once per activation, instead of performing a block action, either on its own or as part of a blitz action, this player may perform a Breathe Fire special action. Okay, so instead of blocking, they can Breathe Fire. When a player makes a Breathe Fire special action, they may choose one standing opposition player they're marking and roll a dice, applying a -1 modifier if the target has a strength of 5 or higher. So they're breathing fire against someone standing next to them in their tackle zone. Roll a dice and see what happens. On a 1, the dwarf player gets overeager, engulfing themselves in flame, and is immediately knocked down. On a 2 to 3, the opposition player ducks the gout of flame and nothing happens. On a 4+, the opposition player takes a ball of fire straight to the face and is immediately placed prone. However, if the roll is a natural 6, the potent power has taken its toll and the opposition player is knocked down instead. Okay, so placed prone is on his back. Knockdown is, well, do an armor roll, I guess. After the Breathe Fire special action has been resolved, the player activation immediately ends. Okay. Immediately placed prone. Natural 6. So, yeah. I don't know how much I care about that. I guess you'll have to play with it and see. But on... So it's like 50-50 to do anything. So a 2 to 3 is nothing happens because they've managed to avoid it. On a 4+, they've avoided it by lying on the floor, so it's a voluntarily lie down on the floor essentially to not get hurt. On a 6, it's like knocking them over in a block, and they take an armor roll, I would guess. That's what they mean, the difference by place prone and knockdown. Yeah, we'll have to see. It'd be interesting to see what the stats are of these guys. At the moment, I mean, maybe they feel like they've toned the team down because the team was very good. Tackles certainly nerfs the team quite considerably. Iron hard skin bumps it back up again. So I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to see. Okay, hobgoblins remain the same. Those sneaky stabbers use shadowing and stab to stay uncomfortably close to high-value opposition players, perhaps to jab them between the ribs if they even glance at the end zone. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they're better than Dark Elf Assassins, who I've never really rated. So very rarely take them on the team. So yeah, we'll see if there's a place for them. Bull Centaurs remain lightning quick, almost definitely still function as sackers or scorers depending on how you decide to spec them. And a Minotaur is still very much Minotaur. Ah yes, there's no specific Minotaur because you can use the Chaos one. Okay. This isn't the last we'll hear from these doughty dwarves and their belligerent bovine adjacent blitzers, so check back on Warhammer Community for all the latest Blood Bowl news. Well, there we go. That was very, very cool. I'm not going to watch the video. I'm pretty sure they basically say all this stuff anyway. Yeah, very good. Oh, I may finally get a Chaos Dwarf team. That's exciting. I was never a huge fan of the models. I don't know. Maybe I would have done if they were still available now. But certainly at the time when they're available, I just was never a big fan. But these are good. Like them a lot. And especially these Bull Centaurs, very, very nice. So yeah, there we go. I may well be. Well, I can pretty much guarantee I'm going to get a Chaos Dwarf team at some point. There we go. Excellent. All right. So yeah, something different. Not old world per se. This is old world adjacent because these are old world races. What implications does it have for old world? Well, Chaos Dwarves are on the brain in Games Workshop. So with that in mind, I would suggest that there may well be some. There's more incentive. There's more incentive to bring Chaos Dwarfs back into the old world. Now, this is not me saying, oh, look, they've brought these out because they're planning to do new Chaos Dwarf models. This is more me saying that now that they've brought this out, there's a precedent for releasing new Chaos Dwarf models. So when the time comes for the legacy armies to be revisited, which will happen at some point. Whether it will wait until the next edition of Old World, whether it will be as part of various supplements, so like Siege of Prague or something. I fully reckon that. Wow, this is a guess, but I feel like it's a good guess that as they bring supplements out for Old World, they'll also introduce new armies. I think there is quite a good chance, maybe, that you'll get an army like Kislev come out when Siege of Prague happens. Although, yes, they absolutely can, because they've got loads of old Kislev models that they can release. So that would be my guess. When we get Siege of Prague, we'll get old Kislev, whether it's just like made to order or as a proper release. I think it'll probably be a proper release. And anyway, so all that to say, Chaos Dwarfs are on the brain at Games Workshop. If this is a particularly successful Blood Bowl release, then Chaos Dwarfs will become more of a priority. But the very fact that they've made new Chaos Dwarf models means they're, like I say, more likely to make new Chaos Dwarf models for Old World, and at the very least release. Imagine if they re-released the old Chaos Dwarf models. They go for a lot of money on eBay. So yeah, Games Workshop definitely make a lot of money releasing the classic Chaos Dwarfs even for Old World. So there we go. So good prospects for things to come in Old World, and an excellent Blood Bowl team. I love Chaos Dwarves. I will definitely be getting a Chaos Dwarf team. Alright, thanks for watching. Hopefully that was interesting. A little bit different. But yeah, catch you in the next video.